Hey everybody, it's Mama to Wife One, and thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am Mama to Wife One. I am a content creator, an editor, a writer, and obviously a mommy and a wife. And if you guys are not new here, thank you guys so much for coming back and just coming to listen to me talk about the sometimes train wreck that is Married at First Sight. So if you're here, you clicked on this video, you know that we have gathered here today to discuss Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 11, which was called Moonshine and Month-iversarys. So this is the episode where all the couples have reached that 1 month mark of marriage, 4 weeks. So technically they are halfway through the experiment, shall we say. The experiment is 8 weeks of marriage. They have officially reached 4 weeks. And again, to give you guys an idea of time and how it's a little weird on the show, they've been married for 4 weeks. We've been dealing with them for 11 weeks. So in our mind, they've been together about 3 months and they should really be a lot farther along than they are. But then in reality, it's been 4 weeks for them. So we're going to go couple by couple like we normally do. I will say that, I'll start with Gina and Clint. I love how much they have progressed. I don't know if the progression has been really good. It's been really inspiring. They're talking a lot more. They're getting along really well. They seem to be having nice, intimate conversations. And I appreciate all of that. And I think it's really great. My fear, though, is if it continues to go on as it is, that it won't leave room for any physical intimacy to grow. Because their biggest hurdle was that they're not attracted to each other because they're just not each other's types, which happens on the show, obviously, because you're meeting someone for the very first time. There's no guarantee they're going to be someone that you would typically go for. So that's fair. But I don't know if I've seen that part grow. Again, they're getting along, they're talking, they make each other laugh. They're definitely getting to know each other better and really clearly seeing why they were matched, clearly seeing why the other person is a good person and why, it's a good match or whatever. But again, I'm not seeing the physical chemistry really grow. And I think if nothing else, I see them leaving this experience being good friends. I'm hoping it actually leads to marriage for both of them. But I think right now something there. It's probably too soon to really tell. But right now it's like, oh, you guys are cute. Okay. So to celebrate their 1 month anniversary, they recreated Jamaica, which I like the concept of this. Everything went downhill towards the end of their honeymoon. So I like that they were like, you know what, we need to take two. Let's take a hike to the waterfalls, just like we did on our honeymoon. But this time they had the dog Hank. I love that Hank and Clint get along really well. I think that's really cute because women and their dogs, especially on this show, if the dog loves you, it just makes them love you even more. So I thought it was really beautiful. They went on a nice hike, saw the beautiful waterfall, and then she created this like Jamaican oasis at their house. She put up a bunch of Jamaican flags and palm trees, and there were like leaves on the table, and they ordered like curry goat, I think, and jerk chicken, and just had a nice little feast. And I thought it was really sweet. And I didn't have a lot of notes for them for the most part. I said that they're understanding each other and getting along well because they agreed to have fun with each other and just let things grow naturally. She recognizes that he is what she was looking for and she can see a future with him. And that's pretty much it. Like I won't say there was nothing there. It was nice to see them getting along. I will say that. But again, my concern is that it's only going to be in the friend direction and not really go beyond that. Also, I want to mention, and this isn't about Gina and Clint, but I do think it's funny that every season of Married at First Sight, there's always one person or one couple that becomes the sage couple of the season. So they're the couple that people go to for advice, and they're the couple who also give advice like, okay, now that you're married, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Okay, well, you need to understand this about her. Maybe you need to think about this with him. And it's like, y'all been married as long as we have. Why do y'all think y'all know anything at all? But there's always a one couple. And I never know if it's the producers like guiding this one couple to be like the unofficial experts in the absence of the experts, or if they really feel like they're supposed to do that. This season, it is Nicole and Chris. And out of all the couples, they've made the most progress in terms of, not most progress, but they've gotten the furthest, I guess, when it comes to being like a married couple, because they're the only ones who have consummated their marriage. And they seem on the surface to not have any major problems. So they are kind of the golden child, or the golden children rather, of this season. So at one point, Nicole is just dishing advice to people like, you guys need to understand, it's only been a month. You need to be patient with each other. You need to make sure that you guys do this. And it's like, Nicole, you've been married a month like we have, girl. You don't know nothing. But for their 1 month anniversary, actually part of the anniversary celebration was they went with Gina and Clint to do a redneck comedy tour bus. Now, being someone of the African American hue, anything redneck ish doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. So if that's your bag, continue to have your fun and do your thug thizzle. It's just not for me. So I was just kind of tuned out to that portion of the show. Like, and I knew they wouldn't necessarily say anything crass or anything like that because it's on network TV. They're not going to get away with saying something that they shouldn't say. But anytime I hear redneck, I just immediately kind of zone out. But like, nope, not for me. But I thought it was a cute idea to celebrate your 1 month anniversary through a double date. I thought that was different. And then they went to this place and had different flavored moonshines. I was like, okay, again, that's a very country thing to do. And I thought that part was cute. But their overall 1 month trip or 1 month excursion, Chris, I thought there's something really sweet, and I thought it was really clever and cute the way he did it. He wrote a note, put it on the ottoman while they're in the apartment, and I think Nicole's getting her hair done or doing her hair in the bathroom. He has this like remote control helicopter, and he gets her attention with it and guides it over to the ottoman so she sees the note that says it's time to take this to the next level, and he surprises her with a helicopter ride. I thought that was such a cute idea. I thought that was very fun, very unique, and I love the way he presented that to her. And I was like, oh, that's really cute. And I still like the way they are together. Oh, but we have to discuss, even before the 1 month anniversary celebration, we have to discuss Nicole's dad. Her dad is one of the MVPs of the episode for me. If you guys remember from the wedding, she is a daddy's girl. Her father is from New York. He is very New York in the way he speaks, meaning he is very direct. He doesn't pull any punches. He doesn't hold himself back. He's just kind of direct, to the point, honest, all that stuff, right? So he's coming to their apartment for the first time, and Nicole was excited because this is a chance for him to get to know his son-in-law a little bit better. Because, since Nicole's a daddy's girl, he was very nervous about her doing this type of experiment and didn't really know what to expect. And obviously, he's protective of his child, but understands that she's a grown-up who's going to do her own thing. So he's trying to be on board, but he's at the same time like, okay, but I got to get to know Chris for myself. So it seems like he does like Chris, but one thing he did warn Chris about was, because this is my daughter and I know her very well, I know her personality. I know that she can be aggressive. I know that she can walk over people. She doesn't intentionally do it, but her personality is just so big that sometimes she may inadvertently do it. And what you need to do is make sure you stand up for yourself. You seem like a really nice guy. You also seem like a confident guy, and that's a great thing. But I need you to make sure she understands that she can talk to you any kind of way, treat you any kind of way, make sure you're your own person in this relationship. And I love that he gave that specific advice to Chris. He also said that Chris needs a little big dick energy. And I had to explain what that was to my husband because he had never heard that term before. And I've heard BDE before, never heard it on Lifetime. Never thought I would hear it on Lifetime. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, Nicole's dad, tell us how you really feel. I appreciate it though, because I do think that's the advice he needed to have. And Chris, as much as his persona is, I'm Mr. Nice Guy, and people tend to walk all over me, he definitely speaks up when he feels it's right to speak up, when he feels there's a need to speak up. I haven't seen him really shy away from anything as of yet. He seems to kind of take things head on, but he definitely picks and chooses his battles, and kind of clearly see him weighing, okay, is this something that I need to address, or is this something I can let go? Is this something that I need to talk about right now, or is it something I can kind of wait till later? I see him making very smart decisions about that, which I appreciate, but also appreciate again that when the time comes and he understands, okay, this needs to be addressed now, he doesn't seem afraid to talk to her about it. But I think that also speaks to Nicole, that she creates an environment where he feels safe enough to lovingly confront her and lovingly have a conversation with her about something that may be bothering him, which they haven't had a lot of. Honestly, they seem to get along really, really well. But again, I like that he's not afraid to actually speak up and say something to her. Also had a note, she wore this pink dress when they went on the helicopter ride. It looked amazing on her skin tone. Like, Nicole be wearing some really, really cute dresses. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, girl. I really appreciate that. That was very pretty. And that's pretty much all I have for them. The black couples last night, let me tell you the overall consensus online. If you guys don't know, there are so many chats out there about this show. One of the ones I'm a part of is Black Women Who Like Married at First Sight. And I don't remember who invited me to the page. And I was just like, oh, I'll just kind of peek in. But they have a chat thread every Wednesday. The overall consensus, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but the overall consensus is that Eris is a F boy. I don't curse, so the F word. He's a F boy. Eris and or Shaq may be closeted gay. And the real pairing should have been Shaq and Jasmine. So those are the overall online consensus I've seen. Again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but I thought it was interesting that a good chunk of people believe one or all of those things. But I don't even know who to start with because I was annoyed by several people. Okay, we're going to go with Shaq and Kirsten. I will say in my group chat with my mother and my uncles, they actually believe that Shaq is gay as well. I don't think that he is. I don't think I share that opinion, but they think that Shaq is gay. They also are more on Kirsten's side than I am. I feel like this is the revelation I got about Kirsten. And I don't know if I said this last week or not, so if I'm repeating myself, oh well. I think that Kirsten has wanted to be married for a long time. I think that she had a solid idea of what marriage looks like, what kind of role she's going to play, what exactly the husband is going to do, how we're going to interact as husband and wife. She had a very clear outline of what marriage looks like. There's nothing wrong with having an outline, but it's hard to maintain that outline when you have yet to meet your spouse. And in having that outline of what you think a marriage is, you need to also understand that you need to incorporate, once you meet your spouse, you need to incorporate into that outline what your individual husband wants from you. I feel like she's so focused on being the good wife by, let's say, cooking the food, keeping the clean house, having these traditional roles and doing these things is okay. It's not a bad thing if you feel that's what, a wife does. But then you also have to incorporate, okay, I want to do this for him, but what does he need me to do for him? And vice versa. I'm not saying, the husbands don't need to do this. Husbands definitely need to do this as well. But for Kirsten specifically, I don't think she is focused on what he wants. She's like, I know that I'm being needy right now, but I just want him to spend time with me. There are times when he comes through the door and he doesn't hug or kiss me. And it's like, well, what's that about? And I was like, wait a minute, time out. You get bothered when he doesn't kiss you. You are the same woman who has not kissed him on the mouth, who kind of rejected him at the altar when you gave him your cheek, rejected him when he asked if he could kiss you in the honeymoon suite, didn't kiss him for the entirety of the honeymoon, and again, you still have not kissed him. So if it's been 4 weeks, a month, and you have not allowed me to kiss you and you have not made any move to kiss me, how am I supposed to know that you're expecting that from me when I walk through the door? Now, I don't know if she meant an actual kiss or she meant a kiss on the cheek or whatever. I'm going to assume she meant a real kiss. But if you've already created this environment where kissing is not an option for whatever reason, because she thinks she's a bad kisser, she's not comfortable, whatever, you created that environment, right? I'm adhering to that environment because I'm not trying to pressure you. So if that environment then changes, you have to communicate that to me. Because how am I supposed to know that now the flag is down and now I can try to make a move? I don't know that unless you tell me that. I'm going based off of what you've given me. And I'm just going to assume, based off of what we've seen of Kirsten and sometimes her inability to really open up, I'm going to assume that she has not really told him, hey, I want you to kiss me in that way. I'm ready to kiss you. I want to kiss you. I am ready. I don't believe that she has communicated that to him. So if you have not, you cannot get mad that he's not attempting to do that now because you set the rules in place. So if you're changing the rules, let the brother know. I'm sure he would love to kiss you. He's trying to be respectful though. So that was the first time where I was like, you kind of, not that she's rewriting history. I feel like some of what Kirsten does, which kind of bothers me, I feel like there's a little bit of double speak there. Just a little bit. She's also hypocritical at times. And I was like, I need you to hold yourself accountable, sweetie. I need you to please get that together. So I put that she's putting it on him to hold her and to be more attentive. But again, I wrote, but what are you going to do for him? You're saying this is what you need from him. And I think it's fair to say, I want him to make me a priority. I want him to spend more time with me. I'm ready to be more physically intimate with him, so I need him to hold me or kiss me or whatever. That is fair to want those things, and I'm not saying it's not. But I am saying that in addition to wanting those things and or demanding those things, you have to be willing to hear what he's asking of you. And if you're not willing to hear that and not willing to give him what he's asking for, you can't expect him to be, jumping at the gun or jumping at the bit or whatever the term is, chomping at the bit to do that for you. That's not the way it works. Marriage is reciprocal. And it may not be like right away reciprocal, but the whole point is I want to do these things for you because I care for you as my spouse. And you're supposed to feel the same way. You should want to do these things for me because you care about me and you want me to be happy. So don't make this all about you and think I want Shaq to do this, and this. All she said about herself is, I know it takes me a while to open up. That's all you've said. And I did say this in the previous video. It bothers me every time she says that because she's not giving any indication that she's trying, that, it's going to happen soon, or even giving him a little bit of information, like just the tiniest bit. I just haven't seen that. And I put this, she says she feels rejected. And what I did put is, does she really not see that he is feeding off of her energy? Again, you are setting the environment. So all he's doing is reacting to the environment that you've set. So he doesn't know if things have changed because you haven't said anything. And I feel like she's expecting him sometimes to read her mind. It's like, no husband does that. Whether he's met him at first sight or not, nobody's a mind reader. Like, we're not. Like, I need you to tell him something. And I did note, though, that in one of their little home videos, she kissed him on the cheek. That was the first time, at least for me, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, in 11 weeks, that is the first time I've ever seen her lips touch any part of this man's body. And that was just a kiss on the cheek, and even that looks awkward, at least to me. And I was like, oh, okay. So she's trying. I will give her that. She kissed him on the cheek, she initiated. I will say that she is trying. I'll give her that, right? That's fine. For their 1 month, they went roller skating because she talked about how she loves roller skating to do with her family all the time. So I like that he arranged that for her. It shows that he's listening and paying attention. I did think it was weird, at least for me. You guys are two grown people, 32 and 31 years old. Why are y'all wearing helmets and knee pads at a roller rink? I've never seen people do that before unless they're little kids learning how to skate for the first time. Thought that was interesting, but I was like, weird, but okay, whatever. I'm not going to take that from y'all. They had drinks and dinner in the middle of the rink, which I thought was really cute. And, he's asking her, like, what do you think about the marriage? She's like, oh, I think we have a great future. I'm looking forward to spending time with you and traveling. He said, I'm looking forward to spending more time with your family and friends. And my people in my group chat were like, well, why does he want to do that? How come he ain't trying to spend time with her? He's not paying attention to her. I was like, no. You guys are taking it wrong. He's not saying he doesn't want to spend time with Kirsten. He's saying he understands that his wife is not really opening up to him the way he would like. So because family is so important to him, because his friends are so important to him, and his family and friends know him very well, he wants to take the time to spend time with her family and friends so that he can get to know Kirsten, the whole version of Kirsten, which I like because he explained, he was like, I'm getting to know you as my wife, but I want to get to know you also as the daughter, as the friend, as the sister. There's so many different sides of you, and I want to get to know all of those sides. I think that made perfect sense. But in her mind, well, I don't really want him to meet my friends and family just yet. I'm very protective of that because, I don't know if he has a 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's like, but you signed up for this. And like, why? I don't understand. You're not just dating this person. And he's saying, I want to get to know you. So let's hang out with your family and friends so I can get to know you better. So that sounds like someone who is trying to make a future with you. But you're protective of that and you don't want him to meet your family and friends. Okay. And he told her, well, I will say it seems like he's open, but he told her he doesn't see her trying to open up. And one thing he said that I was like, I love this quote, because she basically said, we have a lifetime. He said, we have a lifetime, but we also have a decision date. I was like, thank you, Shaq. I appreciate that. Now, I know sometimes I get on people who focus too much on the 8 weeks and trying to cram everything with 8 weeks and trying to have the 8 weeks be completely perfect. And I'm not saying you should do that. But I do think that it's irresponsible to act like that 8-week deadline is not there. Because at the end of the day, yes, I got married to be married for a lifetime, not just for 8 weeks. However, in order to make an educated decision on decision day, I have to take into account everything that has happened during this 8 weeks. I have to take into account how much progress we've made, how much growth we've made. And if you are still having all these walls up by the 8 week mark, where I still feel like I don't know you at all, I can't say that I have the utmost confidence that you're going to open up once the decision day is over. Because then what were we doing for those 8 weeks? And I'm not saying you should rush the process, but again, he needs something. I don't see her trying at all in that department. She is like expressing herself, saying what she wants. But again, I haven't seen her, at least on camera, have not seen her trying to give him what he's asking for. He's just saying, open up to me, let me in, let some of your guards down. If you have 20 walls up, maybe let 3 of the walls down and let him into those parts of your life. I think if he saw that you're at least trying and saw that there's at least some kind of progress, some forward progression there, then he can make a decision like, okay, it's taken time, but I can see that I'm getting to know more of Kirsten, and I really am looking forward to knowing the rest of Kirsten. So yes, I'll say yes on decision day. But if he's seen nothing in that direction, then he has to go by what he's seen so far. So I don't blame him for that comment. I thought it made complete sense. I also I think that she's delusional, and she's thinking that she has forever to let her guard down, really expecting this man to wait for her forever. And it's like, that's not the way the world works. That's not fair to Shaq at all. And it's not even fair to her. If you say you want to be married and you're in this thing, you signed up for this thing to be somebody's wife, then you need to understand that being a wife is more than just filling this traditional role. Again, you have to talk to your husband or talk to your spouse to figure out exactly what it is they need from you. And if you're not willing or able to do that, then you got to figure something else out. Maybe marriage isn't for you. Maybe you need to be in therapy for a minute to kind of get your demons out the way so that you can fully be somebody's wife. I don't know. And I said that, like, what is she giving him that is making him want to stay past the 8 weeks? I don't know what's happening with them. I really want to see some forward progression. I feel like I did see a preview of them actually kissing. So something I think is going to happen soon. But even if it happens soon, that doesn't necessarily mean it will be enough for Shaq to say yes. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to decision day, at least based off how they are now, I feel like she would say yes. And I feel like he would be on the fence. I feel like her yes would be pretty solid. But I think he's going to be like, I don't know. And then I wouldn't be surprised if he said no, honestly. Let's go to Jasmine and Eris. Okay, so I will say a couple things. One, when they had their anniversary dinner, she was working the heck out that orange dress. She looked amazing. I love how orange looks, certain shades of orange looks on like brown skin. It looked amazing. It looked phenomenal. I was like, yes, girl, you better work it. Was happy about that. They and all of the couples really, actually Shaq and Kirsten didn't do this. Shaq and Kirsten didn't do this, and I don't think Gina and Clint did either. But normally for the 1 month anniversary, they go back and look at the wedding album or they look at a wedding video. And only Nicole and Chris and Jasmine and Eris did that. So now I'm thinking about it, it's kind of weird that the 2 couples didn't. I thought that is kind of strange. But Jasmine and Eris looked through their wedding photo album, and they also got copies of their vows and got to reread their vows. So, and I'm kind of jumping all over the place. This happened towards the end of the episode. But I liked that he's looking at his vows. And in one of his vows, he said he vowed to put forth effort every day. And she asked him, do you feel like you've been doing that? And I was pleasantly surprised that he was honest and he said no. I was like, oh. And that's one thing I do like about them revisiting this stuff. A month really isn't that long, but I think because of this process is such a whirlwind, it is important for them to go back to remember all the promises that they made on the wedding day before they even knew who this person was. So I like that he got the chance to kind of reread that and be like, oh, wow, I haven't been living up to this stuff. I said I was going to do this and I haven't done it. So I'm glad that he saw it. I'm glad that he was honest and say, no, I haven't done this, but I'm going to try to do this now. I appreciate that. That's probably the only props I'm going to give him. Well, actually, no, I'll give him one more prop. For their 1 month anniversary, he took her to a rage room. If you guys have never been to a rage room, it's basically a, not a padded room, but it's kind of it's almost like a construction site. You go in, there's different versions. One of the ones I went into, the first one I went to, you go in and they're playing this like heavy rock music on the speakers. And there's like a wall, there's like a glass something on one side of the wall. And then the rest of it just looks like a construction site. You're wearing almost like a hazmat suit from head to toe. You have on a helmet, you have gloves on, but everything else is covered in this suit. They give you baseball bats, they give you sledgehammers, sometimes you may get an axe. And there are things that you can just demolish at whatever time frame you have, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. But the first place I went to, people would donate things they don't want anymore, don't need anymore. So it'd be like VCR players, big box TVs. They have tons of like empty beer bottles. So you can just throw at walls, or you can put it on a little stand and hit it with a baseball bat. They have old albums and record players and just anything that you can think of that you're just literally beating to death in this room. And for some people, it's a great way to let go of their rage, hence the name Rage Room. So Eris took Jasmine because he said, I feel like sometimes it's hard for her to really express herself. So I'm hoping that she can let out her frustration in this Rage Room. And I did think that that was a good idea, because this is a revelation I got about Jasmine. As much as Eris is not doing what I feel like he should be doing or could be doing, I feel like Jasmine is not very forthcoming or forthright with what she wants. I feel like sometimes when she's saying what she wants from Eris, she's being more on the vague side and not specifically saying, I need this from you. She'll say, I want our intimacy to grow. Be specific, like how do you want intimacy to grow? Do you want him to hold your hand more? Do you want him to initiate kissing more? Do you want him to just ask you thought-provoking questions more? What kind of things do you want him to know about you? Like, I feel like she needs to be a lot more specific than she is. So I understood him having this kind of activity specifically for her. So I was like, okay, again, I'll give you props for that. There's only 2 props he gives me this whole episode. But they did the Rage Room thing. You know, she seems, you could tell every time she has her individual interview now, you can see how frustrated she is. She's no longer, I'll say she's no longer optimistic, because she says she's still kind of optimistic, but she just looks so frustrated and so torn down. But what I do appreciate is that depending on where you are mentally with yourself, if a man is constantly telling you that he's not attracted to you, that could really do something to your spirit. I feel like at the very least, at least Jasmine is not internalizing the things that he says and starting to doubt whether she thinks she's attractive or whatever. Like, she still seems to be strong in that conviction, and mainly putting on Eris, like, well, Eris, I gotta get it together. I don't know what's wrong with him. I know I'm straight. Hopefully he changes his mind. If he don't, he doesn't. If he does, he does, and we'll work that out. So I do like that, at least for now, it doesn't seem like it's impacting the way she feels about herself. But they did the things, they threw bottles, they beat stuff up, they did all that stuff. Yay, it's great, whatever. And I did think that by the end, she was more comfortable throwing stuff against the wall than she originally was. So after that, they have the nice dinner. She wears the orange dress. And one thing that he said when he admitted that he's not adhering to his vows, he said he wants to refocus and figure out their commonalities, aka what do we have in common? It's been 4 weeks. You have not figured out yet what you have in common with your wife? What have y'all been talking about? What have y'all been doing all this time? Most people, from the history of this show, most people find out what they have in common the wedding day. Because after the wedding, after you walk down the aisle, walk back down the aisle with your new spouse, you go to a little hidden area where you have champagne and you start the conversation. And then you talk more at the reception, when you guys have your first dance, all that stuff. Normally, through that conversation, they're like, oh, wow, you do that too? Me too. Oh, yeah, I did ask for somebody who did this, and you do that. That is amazing. That's when they get all excited, and, you know, the nerves are still there, but, you know, they have that sense of excitement that is something new, and oh my gosh, this is my husband, or this is my wife. And so that is the time normally people find out what they have in common, or at the bare minimum, at least on the honeymoon. And it's like, you still don't know what you have in common with this woman. There's still nothing there that is interesting you. I don't get that part. And take a step back for a minute. The episode, their segment of the episode started with him having drinks with a friend of his, a married friend of his. And one thing that bothers me, because he was talking to the friend, and he's like, yeah, I told her I wasn't attracted to her. He's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but, you know, I gotta be honest. Every man likes to throw that in there. I have to be honest. Nobody's saying you have to lie, but nobody's saying that everything that you think has to come out of your mouth either. I'm gonna put that out there for any man or any woman who says, I just want to be honest. You can be honest and still not tell everything. You can be honest and still pick and choose what you share with this person. Honesty is not a good enough excuse to tell me you basically don't find me attractive. And only thing that I've heard him say in terms of attraction is that he likes a woman with a larger butt. That's all I've heard. And what I told my husband last night is that's fair that you like somebody with a large butt. That's fine. But at some point, that woman with the big butt has to turn around and you have to look at her face. So, is there anything about Jasmine's face that you like? Because he hasn't said anything that he likes about her physical appearance at all. Nothing about her face, her body, her neck, her kneecaps, nothing. So, I don't know if there's nothing that he likes at all, or if he's just so focused on the fact that she doesn't have a big butt. I really don't know. And I don't know if he's told her, and I don't know if it even benefit her or their relationship for him to tell her. I feel like at this point, just don't say anything else about the way she looks because you've already done enough damage. Just leave that part alone. But he was telling his friend, he's like, you know how a woman may not be that cute, but she's really funny. You're like, oh, I love her, her sense of humor. That's going to attract me. Or, oh, I love her personality. Or I love how caring she is. He's like, I haven't found that part. And again, I'm like, so there's literally outside of the way she looks, you're basically saying that there's nothing else you really like about Jasmine. That's basically all you've said, because whenever you do compliment her to other people, I could just tell that, she would take care of me if I was sick, or I just know that she would do whatever it takes to make me happy. But what do you know about her? Because that kind of has to do with her personality. She's a giving person. I guess you're saying that. But you literally, there's nothing else there that you like. Because it can't just be the physical stuff at this point. Because you haven't, again, made it clear what else you like about this woman. And there has to be something, well, there has to be. Do you like anything about Jasmine? Anything at all about her physical appearance or anything at all about her personality? Like, do you like anything? Because he's making it seem like there's no one thing that's really like capturing him like that. And it's like, so you don't like her. I'm really confused. And I could be reading it wrong, but I haven't really got that from him, like what he likes. And so that's bothered me. Another thing that bothered me, first of all, his friend asked him, so what do you plan to do to make it better? And I was so glad that somebody asked him that, because he didn't put it on Jasmine, which I thought was great. But one thing that upset me, Eris said he hopes he needs to date her and hopes he can find something that will attract him. He's like, I'm hoping somebody will lead me in the right direction. He listed all these people, from the experts to all of his friends to his raggedy cousin. The one person he did not mention was his wife. Maybe that's part of the problem, that you're relying on all these other people to tell you how to make the situation better. You're relying on all these other people to tell you what the next move should be. You're not married to those people. And all the people you named are all the people who know you and don't know her. And obviously what works in one relationship may not work for the next relationship. So since she's the one you're married to, maybe you need to consider and start going to her first. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. And then another thing this man did, he said that he said that he's admitted to being close to wanting to check out, that he's afraid to hurt her feelings. Then he made the decision that he does not want to have sex until after decision day, because he feels that sex will increase her feelings for him. This is what I will say. There was a season, maybe 2-3 seasons ago, we had the infamous couple, Chris and Paige. Nobody liked Chris. He was a bad person in a lot of different ways. But one of the ways that people did not like him, one of the reasons people didn't like him, is that he claimed to not be attracted to Paige at all. But yet he had sex with her on the wedding night and had sex with her the next day, and then proceeded to have sex with her every time they got together. And she did it because she felt, okay, I'm his wife. This is what a wife is supposed to do. And obviously his attraction must be growing because he keeps having sex with me. It was not. So, and we all saw him as an a-hole for different reasons, but also because of that. So you did this to this woman, not did this to this woman because he didn't rape her, but you slept with this woman, basically giving her false hope, knowing you had no intention of being with her, knowing you weren't attracted to her at all. Like, why would you do that? Right? So we all did that. So I think that Eris is purposely saying, I'm not going to have sex with you until after decision day. A, he doesn't plan to stick around after decision day. I really, really doubt it. And B, he knows that if he doesn't have sex with her, it'll make him a little less of an a-hole to the greater public. Because we can say, well, okay, at least you didn't take advantage and just have sex with her because she's a wife, knowing you had no intention of staying. I think that's why he made that decision, because he don't want to seem like an a-hole. That's my personal opinion. I feel like there's normally hope for all couples, but it's been a month, and it seems like you guys barely kiss, don't really hold hands. There's nothing physically there. And then even him saying, I need to date her more. I got to figure out what we have in common. or I gotta figure out what I like or whatever. When Pastor Cal came to visit y'all weeks ago, he asked you then, what do you like about your wife? And he told you, okay, focus on those things that you like. Pastor Cal already told you to do this and you still haven't done it. So I'm so confused as to why now you have this fake light bulb. Oh yeah, we just need to date more because whenever we go out, we talk more. Okay, we need to do that. Dude, I don't think Eris is a bad person. I just think though that maybe he signed up for this, and some men have done this in the past, which is really unfortunate. I think he signed up to get married, not because he was ready to be a husband, but because he felt like, oh, I'm getting older and I need to be a husband. Not because he actually wants to be married, but oh, I should be married. I'm 39 now and I want to have kids and do that, so I need to get married. And he took the easy way out of signing up for a show as opposed to actually dating and letting his guard down and falling in love and doing all that stuff. That's my personal opinion. I don't hate Eris. I do hate that Jasmine has been saddled with this situation. I hope that things will improve, that she will be more vocal in saying exactly what she wants, that even little intimate things, even just having a conversation, but sitting across from each other and holding each other's hands and looking each other in the eye, do that. Talk openly about what you like about the other person. Make Eris do that, because I feel like Jasmine has said it all the time. Sit across from Eris and ask him, what do you like about me physically? And then what do you like about my personality? Make him look you in the eye, because they got a problem with eye contact sometimes. Make him look her in the eye, hold hands, and ask him those questions. And even for Jasmine, we've heard Jasmine say, I'm attracted to Eris, but I haven't clearly heard her say what she likes about him personality-wise, so he can feel free to ask her too. And I know Dr. Pepper sent them a whole rack of questions. We didn't see them really answer any of them, maybe like one or two. But I know Dr. Pepper is good for sending them these thought-provoking, intimacy-like questions. I don't think they went through that list. Find that list again and go through those questions again. Like, do that. That's what I need, both of them to put more effort in, but especially Eris. I really want that for him, because not want it for him. I want that for Jasmine. But that's my review and recap, guys. If you have not seen the episode, I mean, I guess you don't technically need to see the episode since I just talked all about it. But let me know below what you guys think. Do you think Gina and Clint have true promise when it comes to romance? Do you think Nicole and Chris are too good to be true? Do you think, for Kirsten and Shaquille, do you think one person is right over the other? And for Jasmine and Eris, do you think that they will make it? Do you think that Eris should be on this show? Do you think that Eris will be able to grow up and really do what he needs to do as a husband? Comment below. Make sure you like this video. Share this video if you like. Like I said, comment. Subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a blessed, wonderful day. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.